Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar on rethinking riverfronts. This 50 minutes time is actually a pinpointed discussion on how we can rethink our riverfronts beyond what we already see as the traditional practice, and how we can move beyond it and consider more eco-friendly, eco-sensitive and nature-oriented options, considering all the situations that the artificial systems can do to the rivers and our ecosystems. So for before we begin for the with the speaker of our today's session, we would like to have a brief intro on the River Cities Alliance by NMCG and NIUA that has been created for the river cities as one common platform where knowledge sharing, capacity building, and various other activities happen. So for that, I would request Shreya to just get you through this River Cities Alliance. Shreya, over to you.
Thank you so much, Simran, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So I'll be taking you through the River Cities Alliance and what is the initiative all about. So it is a city-led movement to promote river-sensitive planning and development. And the So we all know that urban rivers, they hold environmental, social, and cultural values, and our cities, they are Indian cities, especially, they are heavily dependent on them for their identity and culture. So, but with the recent urban development pressures, so the rivers, they are facing neglect and degradation in most cases. And that is why this River Cities Alliance was initiated by NIUA, National Institute of Urban Affairs, and the National Mission for Clean Ganga as a dedicated platform to work towards this collective vision for for sustainable urban development, which has river sensitivity inclined to it, and to aim for restoration and resilience of urban rivers. And this mission aligns with the objective and the statement by our Honorable Prime Minister, who also focused on river cities and their importance in one of his on one of the platforms. The various objectives that RCA works on are networking, capacity building, technical support, and knowledge exchange. So we primarily aim to support cities, river cities, with objectives like capacity building and demand-based knowledge products, and primarily on urban river management plans to help them and to develop any river-related interventions to support them with those, and to increase the performance in the sector of urban river management in those cities. So, as RCA Secretariat, we are stationed here at NIUA with the advisory board and the international partners with which we work, and this initiative was initiated in the year 2021, and it began with 30 river cities. And now, as a secretariat, we are very proud to say that we are now in 2025 at 145 river cities and with one international cities. So the work that we focus on, they cover 86 Ganga river basins and the Ganga basin cities, and 28 river basins and 78 rivers, which is a pioneer initiative, and that is why we are all very proud of this. And these are some of the glimpses of RCA initiatives that we have done so far, including training programs, discussions with academia, involvement with the communities, involvement with the students as well, organizing webinars with which we are here on one of the webinars. And this is a glimpse of some of the knowledge products that we have developed so far. And these mostly focus on urban river management plans and river economic, focusing on the eco-sensitivity planning, river sensitive planning, and all of which you will find on our website as well on indiarca.org. And with this, I'll give the mic back to Simran. Thank you once again for joining us, and I hope you enjoy this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you so much. You can always find these websites, these linked to the knowledge products and all the capacity building programs that have already happened at indiarca.org. So now coming back to today's webinar, which is one of the many that will be organized ahead. This webinar is mostly focusing on rethinking the riverfronts, and which is one of the objectives of Urban River Management Plan that has been jointly prepared by NIUA and NMCG. And for riverfronts is one practice that has been common throughout the decades. Various practices are done, but traditionally, what we have now started practicing is ignoring the natural paths of the water and mostly the courses that they follow. So just respecting that and how we can enhance our knowledge on it. We have one speaker for today who has worked on Srinagar Jhelum riverfront. Shri Anuj Malhotra. He's a landscape architect by profession and a technocrat with 23 years of experience in urban development sector, worked with various ministries and projects worth more than 1,000 crores on various cities around across India. And the major USP that Jhelum riverfront has is not just revival of the river, but eco-sensitive way what they adopted, public participation that came into the picture, and also creating the economic opportunities while rejuvenating the river. So we will hear more from him. So now I welcome Shri Anuj Malhotra and his team member Suhaib, who will join us for the presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Simran. So I'm happy to be here. Uh, Over here, I'll introduce my former colleague and currently who's also serving in Srinagar, Mr. Suhaib Naqshbandi. He is an urban designer and also part of has been spearheading this particular project in Srinagar for more than 4 years now. I'm no longer in Srinagar, but I am deeply connected to the place, having worked there for such a long time. I will be here online all the time, and I'll be taking on the questions after the presentation. But I'll invite Mr. Suhaib Naqshbandi, who's currently a DGM at Srinagar Smart City Limited, to kindly make the presentation on the Srinagar riverfront. And along with me, Suhaib shall also take the questions afterwards, after the presentation is over. Thank you.
Over to you, Suhaib.
Suhaib has over 10 years of experience in urban development projects in urban design and has worked in various areas within Kashmir and outside. Suhaib had been intrinsically part of the entire riverfront development and the ideation of it, conceptualization of it, and to take it forward to the place where it is right now. Over to you, Suhaib. Please, you can share your screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anuj sir. Thank you so much for the warm welcome and the introduction. So thank you, Anuj sir. Thank you very much. So I'll be presenting the case of revitalization of Jhelum riverfront that we undertook as part of the larger urban transformation of the Srinagar, wherein the Jhelum riverfront was the centric to the entire transformation story of Srinagar. It won't be incorrect if I say that Srinagar is the living city of waters. So the entire city is inhabited around the river Jhelum, and then we have multiple lakes, and then we have the interconnections, which we locally call them as calls, and our socio-cultural association with water and the river is immense. Next, please. So just an introduction about my city. So the entire city is around the Jhelum river, which starts from the south of the Kashmir and runs down towards the north, which is called the Baramulla. And we are talking about the center portion of the center portion, which is the city of the Srinagar, inhabited by more than 18.5 lakh people, and majorly concentrated within the core part of the city. So we basically identified our projects based on the themes. So Jhelum riverfront and waterfront is the major theme under which we did a number of multiple interventions actually, and all those themes are interconnected. So we are not talking about the projects in isolation. Our entire projects form the network. We are looking for the entire area-based upliftment. Next, please. So this is the map. This is the map which gives us the position of our Dal Lake, the famous Dal Lake, and then the Jhelum riverfront. As you can see, along our Jhelum riverfront, you can see the network of those streets. Basically, the network which falls under the 800 meters of the radii. We have attempted to improve. Next. So this is the Jhelum riverfront. So basically, we took Jhelum improvement of Jhelum in two phases. So first phase forms the institutional area of Srinagar CBD, basically, which has the length of almost 2.5 kilometers. So wherein we have attempted to improve the accesses. As you can see, the n number of streets, be it GPO, be it Polo Street, has been improved. Based on a universal access. Next, please. So this is the entire map of Jhelum riverfront phase 1. Next. So again, if we see the historic perspective of this Jhelum riverfront, this was always a public space. Later it was invaded by cars, but initially the entire Jhelum riverfront was the social and cultural space for inhabitants of Srinagar, where they performed all those cultural activities. The social gatherings used to happen along the Jhelum riverfront, and then also because Srinagar, for Srinagar, the mobility was water-based mobility. Then this riverfront, some guards along this riverfront was also the boarding alighting points for that water-based mobility. Next, please. Some historic images. So riverfront. So next, please. So we initially started identifying the issues. As you see, as I was talking earlier, that it was invaded by cars. You see all this public spaces encroached by cars. There's no space for people to move. And then those solid waste management issues on the riverfront. Next. So you see the space, it was inaccessible. So earlier interventions, which were majorly engineering interventions, so that further led to the decay of the riverfront. So they had attempted to make this as a public space, but it later turned inaccessible for people. Next, please. Again, the condition of the riverfront, dead and not maintained. The public spaces, again, inaccessible. The historic guards where activity used to happen was in shambles. Next. So these are some of the these are some of the streets which are the major access corridors to the riverfront. The public utilities, be it public toilets and all, again in shambles. The area which used to be the front yard of the city was turned into a backyard of the Srinagar city. Next, please. So an idea about the surroundings, site and the surroundings. Basically, the phase 1 of the Jhelum riverfront, which we are discussing, is majorly a commercial hub of the city, and then there are a number of institutional pockets So if we compare this part of the Jhelum riverfront with the old part of the city, you would see that activity, it is less in terms of activity as compared to the old part of the city. Next, please. So some major access corridors. Next, please. So next, can you move a slide back, please? Yes. So what we are trying to do is we identified the existing access corridors, and we also propose new accesses. So basically, the desire lines, what we call, we try to make them proper access corridors, so people feel easy to come to the riverfront. So basically, all these desire lines were improved and developed into pedestrian connections. Next. Next, please. So all these guards where universal accessibility was absent, we try to introduce all that universal access along these guards and access corridors. The activity nodes, there were activity nodes present along the right side of the right part of the Jhelum riverfront, but there was less activity which was there along the left side, and we have tried to propose some nodes which basically act as a magnet which invite people to come to the riverfront. So next, also getting the basic knowledge from the best case around the world. But when we were doing riverfront, we tried to make it totally contextual. We didn't try to copy paste intervention. Basically, whatever we done was entirely contextual. Whatever was the need of the people. So we have done planning accordingly. Next. So trying to introduce elements which basically are local. We were not trying to put in element which was foreign to this place. So we have all those chinars along the Jhelum riverfront. So along those chinars, we are trying to trying to make those seaters, which are seaters using the local deodar wood, and using the stone which is local to the place. So all the elements were local and nothing was foreign. Next. So as I was saying earlier, also that we had an activity along the Jhelum riverfront. All those nodes were available. Suppose we had the interesting Srinagar club, but there was no activity happening in there. We just we got in touch with the owner of the Srinagar club, and we got in discussions with them. We were trying to put in an activity so that Srinagar club becomes becomes an active node of the Jhelum riverfront. So this again is a very important institutional area, which basically is the major garden of the garden in the CBD of the city. So it's called the Emporium. So we're trying to make again Emporium accessible for people. Earlier it was all fenced. Later we proposed to introduce access within the Emporium so that people come in, so that it is the integral part of the Jhelum riverfront. Next. Next, please. Next, please. Next. So again, so if you talk about the assets that were existing on the site, we can talk about the houseboats which were lined along the Jhelum riverfront. Again, those were in the derelict condition. So when this Jhelum riverfront was improved, when the visibility and accessibility to the Jhelum riverfront was improved, the private sector itself responded to it. All those derelict houseboats were renovated, and now these are the main program are the major activity nodes along this along the Jhelum riverfront. Next, it's a restaurant. It's a thriving restaurant. Again, we for improving the activity. So what we have done is we have developed several cafes, restaurants, and kiosks on the riverfront. Only the construction part was done by Smart City. Now it's and the rest refurbishment and the interior makeover, the precinct level upgradation was done by the private party. We basically have we have given this to a lease for 5 years, wherein the private party manages and monitors this kiosk, and this acts as the important activity node on the Jhelum riverfront. Again, the another case of the houseboat, initially in a very bad condition, but when the Jhelum riverfront was improved, the access to it was improved. The owner of the houseboat responded to that improvement, and he upgraded his houseboats to act as a thriving restaurant along the riverfront. Next, please. So some of the pictures, I'll go fastly go through it. So this is what was initially there, and what we propose. Basically, entire barrier-free space. The accesses I was talking about, we try to improve the access. We try to enable universal access along all those access corridors. Next, please. So again, the area barricaded with all those fences. Now a open space. Now a barrier-free space with the elements which are local, like the paving that we have done along the riverfront is it's local. We have tried to incorporate the local elements, be it a flooring made in the shape of the chinar and all those seaters which are made up of local wood. Next, please. Next, please. Next. So, yes. So this is the these are some of the pictures which were during the execution phase. And now I'll also like to tell an interesting fact about it. So basically, when the implementation was carried, so we almost had 5 agencies working on this stretch. So we had multiple departments, be it public works department, and we also had the irrigation and flood control department, because the river bank belongs to the irrigation and flood control department, and we had sewerage and drainage department were working also. And what I want to convey is that all of this happened because of the immense coordination. Without coordination, this was not possible. And also, this intervention in the city has also led to the capacity building of all those institutions, because initially the work of this sort was not being done in the city. Now when the roads department is developing a footpath, they are aware that they have to develop footpaths based on standards, that the maximum height has to be 6 inches only. It cannot be more than 6 inches. So in real sense, the capacity building of those agencies have also happened. So basic improvements, nothing hardcore, no hardcore engineering, only improving access and making making the space more attractive for people. That is what we have done. Next, please. So now the entire space is barrier free. The lesser amount of the space is given to the vehicles. The more of the space is developed as a public realm for people. Now this Jhelum riverfront is the bustling hotspot of the Srinagar city. So initially, when a visitor used to come to the Srinagar city, he would nearly go to the Dal Lake, because there were no other options for the visitors. Now this Jhelum riverfront has become the new address for visitors also. Next, please. all those landscaping elements along the riverfront. And in fact, all those trees, can you move a slide back, please? So interestingly, all those trees which were there present on the riverfront, which are basically devdar trees, which are age-old devdar trees, and then we also have chinars. So they have been incorporated as part of the entire improvement. So urban design planning was done in a manner that those trees, those chinar trees, become the interesting nodes of the city wherein people can come and relax. Next, please. So I was talking about the universal access. These are some of the curb ramps which are present along the entire length of the Jhelum riverfront, and perhaps the along all the streets that we have upgraded. So this is a picture after the completion. So this is during the day of the inauguration. Then when the Jhelum riverfront was inauguration, the all that those cultural programs would kind of regenerate, जो मतलब लास्ट 20 ईयर से नहीं हो रहा था, वो उस दिन झेलम रिवर फ्रंट के स्ट्रेच पे हुआ. सो जितना भी कश्मीरी culinary है, all that Kashmiri traditional music was played on the Jhelum river front. Next, please. So in fact, one major next, please. Yes, you can stick to that slide, please.
This one?
No, last, please. Last. Yes, last. One slide back. Yes, this is the slide I want to discuss. So what has actually happened is, so this was all public infrastructure which was laid under the smart cities mission. Now the real estate, now the private sector is responding to it. So some months before, a 5-star category hotel has come upon the Jhelum riverfront. That property was in dispute from last 10 years. But the moment the riverfront was inaugurated, when he realized that it has become the opportunity area of the entire city, so he approached to the top-notch chain of the hotels, and now we have the thriving Radisson collection on the riverfront. So this is how private sector responds to the public investment. Right. Next, please. Next. So all those seatings along the riverfront. So again, if you see, can you move a slide back? Slide, yes. One slide. Next slide. Yes. So I was talking about the accessibility. So accessibility is the main thing. So if you see the before image, this is the space which was nearly accessible. ये कोई रास्ता नहीं था riverfront आने के लिए, but it was connected to a major junction of the city. So what we have done is we have improved the access. So वो जो junction है हमारा CBD का main junction TRC. So now there is a direct connection from TRC to Jhelum riverfront. Next, please. So again, I was discussing about we have not worked in Jhelum riverfront in isolation. So all of these streets are connected to Jhelum riverfront. This is a polo view street wherein we have done the complete pedestrianization. Next. So this is a street which is a direct connection to the riverfront. Again, it was a majorly occupied by cars, though it was a very important market of the city. So this perhaps was our first intervention. What we have done is we have improved this market and upgraded this as the complete pedestrian connection to the riverfront. When we were doing it, we have also made a parallel road to the parallel road, so that there also is a vehicular connectivity. This is how the polo view is now. You can quickly shift the slides. Yes. All those access streets to the Jhelum riverfront. Yes, quick. So this is again one more street called the Maulana Azad Road. So now is the Jhelum riverfront, which forms the old part of the city. So here the context was different. So this was the very compact area with all those heritage buildings. So here we didn't have Jhelum Riverfront as a continuous promenade, but instead we had those heritage ghats lined up on the Jhelum Riverfront. Those ghats were the historical, cultural, social, and economic nodes of the city. So what we have done we have done in the Jhelum Riverfront phase 2 is the historic upgradation and restoration of those ghats, so that the activity which used to happen historically comes back to the riverfront, and then the Jhelum Riverfront again becomes the face of the entire core city Shahr Khas of the Srinagar. Next, please. So these are all the streets which we have upgraded along the Shahr Khas of the city. Next, please. Upgradation of all those nodes, upgradation of all those heritage. You can keep this slide for a while. So back please. One slide back. One slide back. That Yes. So these are all the public spaces which were connected to the guards. So again, the improvement of those public spaces has been done. Next. Next, please. Next, please. So all these guards have been upgraded, so that there is a social activity, there's a cultural activity happening on there, and also these guards have been upgraded to support our water transports, to support our boarding and lighting points. As you can see, all those barrier-free ramps have been constructed. Please. So yes, so this again is a very historic ghat near our Khankahi Mola shrine. So again, this ghat was restored. So we've done the conservation of this ghat. We have not attempted to disturb the language. So जो वहाँ पे था उसको हमने upgrade किया within हमने hardcore engineering नहीं करी, हमने restore किया है चीजों को. Right. Next. All these guards, right? So I was discussing about the street upgradation. These are the streets which go to the Jhelum Riverfront. इनका पूरा comprehensive upgradation we have done. So yes, back one slide back, please. So major learnings that we have is, so planning is the key. So when we are doing such projects, we should emphasize more upon the planning first, not have a knee-jerk reaction towards engineering, not directly start with the engineering. We should give time to the planning. Planning के लिए time चाहिए. उसके बाद what is important is to have a strong in-house planning and engineering capability. I'm not contesting that we should rely entirely upon consultants. Yeah, consultants collaborate. But having in-house capability is very important. Next, and in fact, the coordination and the people's participation is paramount. So in all these interventions, whatever we have discussed, be it Jhelum Riverfront, be it the improvement of Jhelum in the core part of the city, so people participation was there. It was there in the plan, during the planning, and in fact, when we were executing, the people participation was present there also. So I remember n number of times when we have changed the material based on people suggestion of public. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This was amazing, the kind of rejuvenation that has taken place and going off the traditional methods, and when the departments talk to each other, and a collaborative effort with involving public and restoring the riverfront to its natural form like it was historically. So maybe Jhelum is one of the best examples for that we are coming across. Our consultants also, like river management plan that I referred in this beginning. So they are also coming across various issues and challenges while they move to different cities and the river cities, and they have come across different kind of riverfronts. Sometimes there is building to edge, sometimes it is treated as backyard, like you mentioned, how we can bring river to the forefront again. like it was treated historically, and the activity mapping across along the rivers, the process basically what you followed. So I'm sure our consultants must have taken the note of it, and they must have many questions. So our team has specifically selected a few questions out of all. So with your permission, can I start with the questions?
Yes, please. Yes, please. We
Yes.
can go ahead.
So the first question right now here is, what are the major challenges faced by the cities in case, in this case, Srinagar, while developing the eco-friendly riverfront instead of taking the conventional approach, like the concretized ghats? So how did you manage to get into the hybrid, more into the green solutions and eco-friendly options? So maybe if you can just pinpoint to a few challenges that you came across.
Yeah, initially when we were doing the planning, and as I said, public participation has been core of it. So all those suggestions that we have developed into proposals were from people. So basically अगर हम कोई भी foreign element डालने की कोशिश हमने river front की, it was not recommended by citizens. So लोगों का यही था कि we focus whatever जो भी हमारी historicity है श्रीनगर की, उसको हम प्रिजर्व करें, ना कि हम कोई फॉरेन एलिमेंट मतलब इंट्रोड्यूस करें. सो आई वुड से चैलेंजेस इस चीज में आए कि जो इनिशियल कोऑर्डिनेशन थी डिपार्टमेंट्स की, वो उसमें दिक्कतें आई. लेकिन फॉर्चुनेटली दिस जो हमारे म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर थे, he was the chief executive officer of the smart city. So उसकी वजह से काफी चीजें ease out हो गई, और जितने भी सारे departments थे, जितने भी line departments थे, they were aligned to the idea that we are doing the historic revitalization of the Srinagar city. We are not trying to introduce something new.
Okay, that is actually a great thing, because foreign elements actually change the character of the city. Foreign
Yes,
elements actually change the character of the city, which obviously is not preferred generally. The next question is, how was people's participation ensured? Were there any on-ground surveys done during the proposal preparation stage, or was it the later on that public was involved?
I would say public was involved from the very beginning. Basically, when Srinagar Smart City SPV was started, we have done this citizen feedback survey. So citizen feedback survey हमारे पास आया था, उसमें कुछ suggestion आई थी which areas are must to work. So आपको क्या करना चाहिए, what all you should focus upon. Also lot of citizenry also focus that we should have a robust drainage system of the Srinagar city, and also some of them suggested that all these areas have become shady part of the city, and we all should attempt to revitalize these areas. We should attempt to make them as a vibrant hotspot of the Srinagar city. So initially a detailed citizen feedback survey was done, and then when we were doing the planning, and at a number of times we had displayed our designs along the riverfront, all those big hoardings. So उस समय भी हमारे पास काफी suggestions आई लोगों की. So suppose I would say there was a masjid, historic masjid along the riverfront. So जहाँ पे हमने we've actually being urban designers, we try to improve. वहाँ पे हमने 2 pathways के between connectivity enhance करने की कोशिश करी. तो लेकिन जो लोग थे, जो मस्जिद कम्युनिटी के जो ओनर्स थे, उनने सजेस्ट किया कि this space is used for prayers, so you should keep it open. तो वहां पे आप कोई इंटरवेंशन नहीं करें. तो हमने वहां पे इंटरवेंशन नहीं किया. We kept it entirely open so that people use it for prayers. So basically इन्हीं चीजों से हमारी एक्टिविटी बनती है. So these are nodes, these are historic nodes that we should try to preserve, not try to put in something.
Very true. Okay. So, sir, while you are talking about the public participation and obviously like retaining some nodes and retaining a few activities so that people do not lose the connect to that riverfront. So were there any ecological restoration studies, basically the water quality, flora, fauna studies done while we were doing this restoration, or was it just maybe taken as the holistic project over the rejuvenation?
So there were studies conducted by Irrigation and Flood Control Department.
Okay.
So that we have taken use of. So we suppose I would like to add. Suppose at several areas they had recommended us not to use hardcore paving, बिकॉज वहाँ पे जो फोना था वहाँ पे हमने हार्ड कोर कॉन्क्रीटिंग, अगर सपोज हमने पाथवे भी बनाना था, we try to make that area as a soft ground. So instead of introducing concrete over there, so we have followed the suggestions which are given by the line department. So studies were conducted by them actually.
That's actually great, because we at NIUA also definitely recommend to our consultants to opt for the hybrid or the green solutions, if not purely green. At least opt for the hybrid solutions rather than concretizing or going for the gray measures completely. So that is great, sir. On these lines only, so there is another question. Have you taken into the response the natural layers of the river? That is, what were the measures taken to fight against the flooding or other climate risks in Jhelum?
Yes, as I said, we have not done any hardcore engineering intervention. So बंड प्रिजर्वेशन जो हमारा झेलम रिवर फ्रंट का बंड था उसको हमने प्रिजर्व करा, स्ट्रेंथन करा हिस्टोरिकली, with a historical methodology. So जो historically it's a decade old methodology here in Srinagar. जो भी हमारे बंड होते हैं उसको हम stone pitching से strengthen करते हैं. So हमने उस चीज को अडॉप्ट किया है, ना कि हम उसको पूरा कंक्रीट हार्ड एज बनाए. हमने स्टोन पिचिंग को यूज करा है so that infiltration or percolation of water also happens and our edge of the riverfront does not become that concrete. So जो भी वहां पे raw vegetation है that thrives actually. So भी जो भी historical methodology है we have adopted to that.
That is great. Actually, keeping the landscapes raw is a kind of filtration method that is also used.
That's right.
Yes.
That's filtration as well as the strengthening of the pond.
Right. Okay, so the next shortlisted question by my team is, while planning, whether sustainability of the project was assessed in terms of assessing the finance required for operation and maintenance also. Any key interventions which can be guidance for others?
Yes, I would
revenue
like
generation model.
Yes, this is very important for our cities. बहुत important है. Basically, we all have to agree. जो हमारा government में जो हमारा maintenance का system है, that is very fragile. So हमारी whatever mechanism for maintenance is present, it's very fragile. Okay. Basically, we want all the maintenance of these public spaces to be done by our municipal corporation. जहाँ पे capacities available नहीं है, जहाँ पे limited staff available है, basically we have to rope in private sector for the operation of and maintenance of these areas. So initially, when we envisaged our revitalization of the riverfront, we could not bundle O&M, operation and maintenance, as part of our civil tender, because यहाँ पे जितनी भी हमारी civil related जो भी constructing companies थी उनमें capacities नहीं थी O&M करने के लिए. But now we have come across with a separate operation and maintenance tender, wherein the entire stretch of the Jhelum riverfront, 2.5 kilometers of the riverfront, would be given to a private operator. He would do the detailed operation and maintenance, and perhaps there are some, as I said, we have these kiosks, we have these lactation pots, we have these public toilets, wherein we are giving some advertisement rights to those private parties, so they can support their finances from that.
Very nice. Yeah. So that seems like a very interesting model. Really adaptable to and scalable on various methods and in various scales of cities. Other than that, were there any kind of revenue generating models, like you were showing some cafe? So were they already existing, or were they planned as a part of this project?
No, they are planned and constructed as part of this project. As I said, we basically, what was the aim? The aim was to enhance the activity. So in activity को enhance करने के लिए we have introduced all those cafes so that वो nodes बन जाए. So we have done the part construction of those cafes. उसके बाद उसका जितना भी finishing works है, that was done by a private partner. So that private agency is operating that kiosk cum cafe for 5 years, and also he is giving us the revenue for it. So that revenue is enabling us to work on our O&M tenders actually. So whatever is generated is again being used on the site.
Maintenance. That's great, and that is what holistic rejuvenation is all about. So the next question is about the wastewater. So during the riverfront development, did you face any challenge with wastewater entering the Jhelum River? And if so, what measures were taken to consider that?
So there initially was one STP existing on the site. So वो जो हमारा existing STP है उसकी capacity को हमने enhance किया है as part of our other project. So if it was 2 MLD, so there are interventions which would enhance the capacity of that STP. So that is the intervention that we have done for the wastewater. And in fact, drainage के लिए भी हमने riverfront में we have not done the hardcore concretization. So जितना भी हमारा green areas है, they act as a sponges for drainage. So वहाँ पे हमारा water percolate होता है. So that helped us not to lay any hardcore drainage infrastructure. Obviously, along one part of the one part of the site, which is the major road, वहाँ पे we have laid the drainage infrastructure. But the side which is the public realm, वहाँ पे हमारा जो green area है, that acts as a natural sponge for drainage.
But now, since the activity has also increased by introduction of new nodes and all, so were there any measures taken to prevent the further river contamination?
Along this stretch, we didn't find any river contamination. Yeah, river contamination is happening. That is happening along the downstreams. Downstreams में river contamination is an issue. वहाँ पे the civil administration, the concerned department, which is the UED department, they have the separate interventions of restricting the water contamination by developing a comprehensive sewerage network connected to STPs. So smart city per se, in terms of wastewater management, we have not worked upon that layer. That has been taken care by the line department.
Okay. So maybe this is one of the last questions. How did you get the public and the shopkeeper corporations in freeing up space along the roads for car parking, which were earlier used for car parking?
Yes, there was some issue. There were issues with relates to parking by shop owners along the Polo Street, which I discussed is the major streets connecting to the riverfront. So वहाँ पे, because when we were doing it, we also had a project in parallel which is called the IT-based parking management. So जितना भी space pedestrianization की वजह से, car space pedestrianization की वजह से consume हुआ, उसके लिए हमने immediate proximity में we have given on-street parking base, and also जो हमारी existing areas थे, जो abandoned areas थे, कुछ areas को हमने कुछ areas में हमने surface parking भी develop किया है, but in the immediate proximity. So अभी जो shop owners है, they feel very proud because removing cars, making pedestrianized actually has enhanced their visibility and then the economic footfall as well.
That is actually very true, because more the footfall, better the business runs. But
That's right.
it's a thing that people need to adapt over time, maybe.
In fact, I would like to add one more point. So Srinagar hasn't seen this night activity because all those years of turmoil. So all those shops would close by 6 p.m. So now if you visit Srinagar and if you visit this entire area, you would see the thriving night activity going on till 11 in the night.
Right.
So that is
Yes,
kind
and
of
I have seen that myself.
it has gone through.
Okay, so sir, overall, if we consider the project timeline, so from planning to execution, and also finally the implementation on ground, what is the timeline that it all happened?
So we nearly gave 8 to 9 months for our planning. So after that, it's been so Riverfront is still not complete in totality. There are some interventions which are pending, some finishing works which are pending. So it took us almost 2 years for the execution.
Okay, total 2 years for execution and
2 years
planning.
for the execution, a year, and 9 to 10 months we gave for the planning part of it.
Okay. So planning is definitely a very large component if we want to go for the holistic rejuvenation and not just part and parcels or piece by piece development.
Yeah, in fact, one more thing that I would like to add is that the urban designers, the planning team was not only looking there during the planning part of it, they were totally engaged during the execution part of it also. So that is when we are able to realize things. तो अभी सिर्फ urban designers planners को हम planning phase में रखेंगे and we will not involve them during the execution, we will not be able to reach to our desired results. So success about these projects is also that planning team was there working with engineers.
Right, right. That is actually true. Working with the various stakeholders is itself a challenge, and I'm sure it happens. So we are flooded with more questions, but in the interest of time, we will have to stop here. And all the other questions, the participants who have put the questions in the chat box, we have taken a note of it. We'll get back to you with the answers. And in the chat, we have also put the email ID for Suhaib sir and Anuj Malhotra. So you can always get in touch over the mail to them. And but in the interest of time, we will have to close our sessions here. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Anuj Malhotra. Thank you so much, Suhaib. So that
Thank you. Thank you very much.
because for this amazing experience to the Jhelum riverfront that has happened, because it is something where some city where the stakeholder consultation is a challenge, and also bringing all the line departments in one table is a challenge that we also face in our project while we are going through the river management in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and bringing them on one table is what we definitely foresee. So before we close, we have one closing remarks from Rahul Sachdeva. He's team leader for the urban river management projects across 60 Ganga basin cities that is happening at NIUA and NMCG. So over to Rahul sir. Yes.
Thank you, Simran. Um, uh, I guess it was really, great session and the kind of questions that were asked. As Simran mentioned, because, we are in the process of preparing urban river management plans for almost 27 cities across 5 Ganga basin states. And one of the core objective of the URMP is how to develop, eco-friendly riverfronts. And in that series, our idea was to, bring across, examples wherein, great work has been done. And that's why, we thought of, taking up Jhelum, given the kind of river, maybe it's not a huge river. So if we consider Jhelum as a small river, what kind of interventions were taken up? And, this could act as a reference project for other cities where, rivers show similar characteristics. So maybe from a closing perspective, I, based on the presentation, like a few of my kind of observations. I think in the context of Jhelum, what was rightly said is that when we talk about eco-friendly riverfronts, is not only about the elements at the riverfront itself, but it is also about creating that access for the people. So, that becomes very important. So let's imagine you have done all the good work at riverfront, but then you don't have, good access for the people to go there, then, it's not going to be of great use. So that was one point. Another, I think, so what you mentioned, it's not a copy paste kind of thing. Every city will have to come up with their own model. So it's a contextualized solution that the city is looking at. And that comes only in participation with the people out there. What is their need? How they are envisaging their riverfronts to be. And I guess that's where you had engaged community in a big way. And you have been able to design a riverfront which is now being cherished by the citizens out there. So I think when we talk about designing such riverfronts, talking to people, understanding their aspiration, and what will bring them to closer to the river, I think that becomes very important aspect. So I think that's what overall what we can get from you, and I'm sure it will be this had been a great learning session for our consultants who are in the process of preparing these URMPs, as well as officials from cities who have joined. And yeah, we will take this dialogue ahead. So thank you very much to both Mr. Anuj and Mr. Suhaib for sharing your experiences.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
the
so much.
participants who joined us on this webinar. So yeah, with that, I would hand it over back to Simran.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you again, Suhaib sir and Anuj Malhotra sir for the time. And thank you, Rahul sir, for the holistic vision that you bring to the urban river management project and the teams across the all Ganga Basin cities. Thank you, Shreya, for the River Cities Alliance, and indiarca.org, I reiterate, is the website where you find all the knowledge products created by NIUA. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Glad.